Hey everybody, I'm Laura DiCarlo of Career Directors International. If you're starting, currently thinking about starting, or actively building a resume writing or career coaching business, I'm glad you've joined me. In this show, we share tools, strategy, and mindset tips that lead to your ultimate success without the stress. And as you see, I have a guest with me here today, Dr. Jeannine Bennett of uh, Vision to Purpose, and I will be telling you a little bit more about her and what we're going to be doing in a minute. But first, I want to ask you to do three things. First off, let me know in the chat who you are. Now, we're not playing anymore with the whole give restream permission game. So all you need to do is say hashtag hi or hi and give us your name so we know who we're talking to. Couple extra steps for you, but it will make our life so much easier. Secondly, if you like what you see and hear today, be sure to like, follow. Oh gosh, my brain is just broken today. Like, follow, share, what is it? Who knows? Anyway, keep watching because we're doing this every Wednesday at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. All right, and if you have any questions, be sure to put them in the chat. I will be monitoring it throughout our session today. So I will be kind of corny here and put our topic up on the screen as if you didn't guess already. We are continuing our interview series, Startup and Growth Secrets for Resume Writers and Career Coaches. And my guest today is Dr. Jeannine Bennett of Vision to Purpose. All right, so let me tell you just a little bit about Jeannine, and then we'll start picking her brain. Not the painful way. Jeannine is an entrepreneur, author, and professional who is deeply committed to empowering individuals and businesses to reach their full potential. As the driving force behind Vision to Purpose, she has assembled a team of experts dedicated to delivering tailored career, business, and writing solutions to clients worldwide. With over 30 years of combined experience in business, government, and academia, Dr. Bennett has guided thousands of individuals towards their goals, both personally and professionally. As an avid supporter of her peers' success, she is always eager to share best practices, provide practical tips, and demonstrate effective methods to help fellow professionals deliver maximum impact with minimal effort. And that is exactly what we want to hear and share today. So if you're joining along with us, I'd love it if you'd give a nice warm welcome to Jeannine in the chat. All right, well, we're waiting for hopefully some comments to come in and some welcomes. Hello, Jeannine, how are you today?
Good. Well, that was a very warm welcome. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. I'm excited to be here.
You're so welcome. And it's like the second time I've seen you today, so that's wonderful.
Yes.
All right, so we know already that your company name is Vision to Purpose, but why don't you tell us a little bit about when did you first start your business?
Well, technically, I got the domain for my business in 2013, and but I really didn't start it full time till 2017. I didn't take the plunge. I just knew I had an idea. I loved the name. I wanted to secure it, and then was ready at the end of 2017 to actually launch it.
Okay. All right. And if anybody is here joining us in the chat, let us know a little bit about your company name or when you started or what you're thinking. We'd love to hear more. All right. Well, makes sense to ask this question next. Tell us a little about your business. What do you do? Who do you do it for?
So you already mentioned that, I do coaching, and I specialize in career coaching, business coaching, and writing success coaching. But today we'll focus on the career side. Basically, I'm a full spectrum of career services. So I package everything from resumes to LinkedIn to interview prep, salary negotiation, again, full service on the career side. My target audience is primarily the military because I'm based in Virginia Beach, Virginia, which is a huge Navy town, if you will. Ironically, I get a lot of Army, though, so that's kind of funny. I always tease my dad that he must be sending me the vibe because my dad was Army. And So it's a running joke in our family because my husband's Navy. So anyway, work a lot with the military, transitioning military.
What a great focus.
I do support others because I am in academia, so I do get a lot on that side. And my PhD specialization is in IT, so I will get a lot of IT folks, but mainly it is the military.
Very interesting that you serve the populations that most people shy away from. So what a great opportunity to niche for you, right?
Yes.
The orphans that need lots of assistance because they tend to be more challenging. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's a natural fit because prior to starting my own business, I served support for the military for almost 10 years. So I'm very comfortable with that community. I understand the language. Like you said, a lot of people don't, but it's second nature to me.
Yes. And you've segued so beautifully into my next question that everyone wants to know, telling us a little bit about what you did before you started your business. So this is key. I always like to hear this because so many people enter the career services industry as a second and even third career.
Yes. So immediately prior to starting my business, and the reason I didn't start in 2013 was because I was working full time as a civil servant, federal government. And I was first at NASA, which I loved. And then I transitioned to the Navy Expeditionary Combat Command, which is what they call an Echelon 3. In layman's terms, that would be like a headquarters over a lot of military units and tribes, if you will. And I was the strategic advisor to an EOD admiral. So I learned a lot about the forces, the different roles our military members play. I learned that the military today is very different than years ago when I was in career services on the academic side. You know, that was in the early 1990s to about, I don't know, 2003-ish timeframe. The military today is very joint. So you may work with the Navy, but the Navy's working with the Army, the Air Force, on missions. So you have to really know all the different military jargon for all of DoD. So anyway, I was blessed to have had the opportunity of working for the federal government for a military command that was at the headquarter level to gain that knowledge. So again, it's just second nature. When transitioning members call me, sometimes they're surprised that I'll finish their sentences because they'll start using military terminology and they think initially that I don't know. And then I'll say, oh yeah, you mean XYZ. And they're like, yeah, how did you know that? So I love it. I love it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Listen, if you're out, Joan Blumenthal says a great topic. Hi, Joan. Good to see you or virtually see you. Listen, everybody who's following along with Jeanette and I today, Jeanette, well, sorry, Jeannine. And we all know I know her name because I talk to her all the time. I don't even know. All right, don't do what I do, but let us know in the chat what you were doing before you started your business or what you're doing now before you're ready to start your business. Yeah. So Jeannine, you said you worked in career services and academia in the past, and you have this background with military and IT. So how did you end up with your own career services business?
Well, to be honest, in 2017, I did have a little bit of a health scare, and it made me rethink a couple of things. And one of the things that I had always wanted to do in my life, in addition to having a PhD, I have an MBA, right? And an MBA, you're supposed to go out and start these businesses, right? And I really always thought I would. So, the health scare and then, age. I'm not getting any younger. And I thought, if I'm ever going to do this, I need to do it now so that, heaven forbid, if this thing doesn't work out, is what I thought in my mind, I have time to jump back into federal service or, whatnot. So I took a chance, surprised leadership at the military command because they were actually grooming me for senior executive service. And so they were pretty surprised when I decided to make a change. But my passion goes back to when I was in career services all those years ago. I loved helping students. I loved helping alumni, once they graduated. And I never lost that feeling. Even though I left academia, I went on to have, a career in different industries, media, law, government. I still helped people with resumes the whole time. They would just reach out as friends or, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. I just loved it. So I thought, if I'm going to start a business, what would that business be? And it was just a natural, immediate thought, career services. I need to go back to that, because they say if you have a passion for something, you're going to do better at it. And why not choose a business, model that would allow me to use things that I'm passionate about? So
Right.
that's how that happened.
And have some flexibility around
Yes.
health and whatnot. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Wow. All right. If you are following along as a viewer and you want to let us know in the chat why you started or want to start a career industry business, please let us know. We're eager to chat with you as well. All right, Jeannine. So at what point in your business did you find Career Directors International?
Not soon enough, I gotta tell you. So I told you, 2017, end of the year 2017, I started, and I, jumped into all kinds of things. I joined associations. I don't know why I didn't find CDI immediately, but I joined everything career related out there, and they all offered different benefits and things were good, but I never felt like I had a partnership with anyone. Long story short, I was still searching. And I'll be honest, friends, I got to a point where I was doing so much, overwhelming myself, that I was going to throw in the towel and go back to federal government or doing something else. And I'll say the grace of God, because I'm as a Christian business, a friend who's also a career professional posted that she won a Tory Award. And I saw who the Tory Award was through. And I'm like, well, what is this Career Directors International all about? As soon as I got on the website, I checked out the information and all the resources, saw the free stuff, and I thought, I've got to join this. The price was incredible. And all the free stuff, I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot for a year. What the heck?
Yeah.
Best thing I ever did. Because I felt like I had a partner now. I felt, again, it's not that the other associations are bad. It was just, they're just different, and they offer different services. And the services I found that I needed at that point in my professional journey was CDI. I needed those additional resources because I was killing myself trying to overproduce and trying to do it all, when CDI was already doing it and it was available to just grab and, put my logo on it. And it just was such a help. I felt like I had a partner and I wasn't all alone anymore. So,
right.
And that was 2022.
And for all those who might be listening now or watching the replay, when she says, resources to just put her logo on, we have a library of done for you white labeled job seeker tip sheets that you can, by white labeled, we mean you download them in Word, you customize them however you want. And then as a CDI member, you have the right to give them away, sell them, use them as the lead magnet on your website, put a price on them, value them in your packages or standalone. It's really great in terms of not having to reinvent the wheel. And then obviously all our business resources, we have scripts and tools and whatnot. We like to help people play at the top of their game. So you've somewhat segued into my next question, but is there anything, so I guess I just asked, is there anything else that you would say was most valuable about CDI that you haven't already mentioned?
Well, as soon as I realized the benefits of CDI, I immediately joined what used to be called Fly Hire Tribe, which, Laura, you're going to kill me because I never get the name right because I'm so used to that. But
Career Industry Accelerator Club.
Yes, and that has been a game changer because you get one-on-one advice, you get group advice, all rolled up in this monthly session, and I love it because not everybody has the same issues, because we're not all targeting the same, audience either. Our markets are different. And so I can ask questions that, Laura definitely gives her expert advice on, but there also may be members in the group who also have experience or different knowledge to share. And so it's so beneficial. So that was another thing I immediately joined and have been so pleased with. In fact, I think when you did your last special, I think I joined for a year or two out or something to keep it going, because I don't want that thing to stop.
Right. You're covered, baby, right?
Yes, I am covered.
Yeah. So that's where I saw Jeannine earlier today, because it's the third Wednesday of every month. We meet for 2 hours for whoever is in the Accelerator Club who wants to come in. Every month, a member shares a topic they want to hear about, and I do a 30-minute mini training on that subject. Today's subject was a 10,000-foot view of metrics in your business, whether that's for getting metrics from clients for resume writing or interviewing, or whether it's how to get and leverage metrics from your clients to create a sales closing and referral engine explosion. I don't know if you guys can hear my cat, but she's behind me screaming. But that turned into a flourishing discussion where we were talking about publishing and finding time to meet goals. It's the beauty of being able to pivot on the spot with a small group of people. I love our live events. I first got to know Jeannine and invite her to. She was an expert guest last year. She presented a members, all of our webinars for our member included, and she was one of our presenters last year on how to create your first product without needing to write, which was a fabulous session. But that's how I got to meet, really how we got to that point was because she was showing up at the CDI member included live events, which involve a lot of networking. And that's how I often get to meet members too, is if you're not responding to the emails I send out, the only way I'm going to get to know you is if you show up at stuff or you win a Tory Award and your name shows up on my roster. So I love getting to know our members, and it's been a pleasure to know Jeannine and see her smiling face at our events.
Well, thank you.
All right. If you are a CDI member, let me know what your favorite parts are. Highest ROI benefits of CDI in the chat. Okay, let's see. What's next?
Well, I would also add, Laura, you talked about networking. You did a networking engagement, I think towards the end of last year as well. And I got to tell you that I can't wait for the next one, because the information shared in that group of participants, I mean, we were sharing not only knowledge, but products that we could use. For instance, there was a give and take call, if you will. And one of the things I gave was a LinkedIn profile review form that I use. And I gave that away as one of the gives. And because that allows other members to be able to take that product and package it and sell it and whatever. And so I love that. And I can't wait till you do another live networking event, because that's another thing that has been very beneficial that I haven't experienced anywhere else.
Yeah, that was our speed networking share and receive event. And that was super powerful. As kind of the spectator running the whole thing, I was completely blown away. I wasn't sure when I was going to ask people to ask for one tangible thing you needed and share one tangible thing you could give. I had no idea that people would share tip sheets, scripts. Bridget shared her, job seeker dashboard. I was blown away. It was to see the power of community come together and what is possible. It's just mind blowing. I have chills just thinking about it.
Yeah, me too. Well, because in our industry, at least my impression early on, before again getting with CDI, the vibe was we're all in competition. So we have to be careful, and I too have a podcast, and people would say, well, don't have so-and-so on your podcast because that's your competitor. And I found out quickly, especially through CDI and meeting so many other people and now having all these strategic partnerships and friendships with that, man, there's enough work out there. We can support each other and encourage each other. And that networking event really demonstrated that.
Yes. I'm not going to lie and say that I work incredibly hard to cultivate the atmosphere that is CDI to be a safe, nurturing place. It has cost me a lot of business and opportunity over the year in saying no to things and people that I felt like, sure, yeah, we could pump money and members into CDI, but at what cost? Because I have been in this industry for 30 years too, and I have seen the underbelly of it. And I don't think anyone, when you're in a community because you want to grow and flourish, especially one that's around helping other people to succeed, you shouldn't have to worry that you're going to get flamed or bullied or any of that crap that I've personally experienced. And yeah, before I started CDI, I had the same experience as you did. And I didn't want to believe it was true. At one point, I tried to start a state chapter for another organization, and contacting the other people, they were like, well, what's in it for you? Surely there's got to be something in it for you to be even doing this. And I was blown away when I saw people willing to share, and we took a chance and got a really great community. That's all I'm going to say. Knock on wood, right? All right. So moving on, what has having your own business made possible for you in your life, whatever? What has it made possible for you?
Freedom, number one. Well, I used to think, oh, I'll have my own business, then I won't have to answer to anyone. I'll be my own boss. Well, that one's not right, because your clients become your boss because they paid the bills for you, in a sense.
Yep.
But seriously, when I had that health scare, like I said, it did give me the freedom that I can work from home, and I have control over where I work. If I want to work from my home office, or if I want to work when I'm on vacation somewhere else, or I did, take my laptop and do the work. So freedom's the biggest for me.
Yeah, I love that flexibility. I think I said last week when I was self-interviewing that I would rather work more hours with the understanding that I can then take time off or sleep in or take Friday or whatever I want. I watch even my husband, who has a job he loves with a company he loves, but they're the ones that decided he was no longer getting every other Friday off and he would get all Mondays off. And I hate that, but I have no control over it. But I have control over what day I take.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I think my second thing would be control, because I have the freedom, but then I have the control to make my business as successful as I want it to be by the effort I put in. So if I choose to grow this to, whatever my magic number is, I can do that. It's on me. I just need to make sure I ask the right people and get the knowledge if I don't have it. But at the end of the day, that control is back on me, not someone else.
Right. So, you're not working. Yeah, you're not working to put money in somebody else's pocket.
Exactly.
Which is very frustrating. My 27-cent raise story. Anyway.
Oh man, you got more than me. I got a quarter.
Yeah. Woohoo, right? All right. The chat's pretty quiet so far, but if you're with me and you want to share what having your own business has made possible, please do. Meanwhile, we will move on. So, Jeannine, what's one thing you wish you had known when you first started your business? Or if you were starting your business today, what's one thing you would have done differently?
Try not to bite off more than you can chew. When I first started in 2017, I thought in order to be successful, I had to jump in full force and do everything. So not only was I a career coach and a business, I was doing life coaching, which I absolutely hated because that's not my gifting. Yeah. I would get people calling me about their relationships, and I'm like, I don't do that kind of life coaching,
Yeah.
So anyway, I was trying to make up the difference in the very large salary that I lost by throwing everything I could at my coaching, my business, and hoping something stuck, and that I would jump right back to what I left. That was a big mistake, because undoing all of that took time, and it took me off focus, off what I needed to be doing. So when I calmed myself down and said, okay, what do you really want to do? Because I'll tell you, my husband and I had the conversation of, well, you're overwhelming yourself. And guess what? You can't quit yourself. So you need to figure this out. So I started shedding things, and the first thing to go was life coaching, because again, that's not my gifting. And then just focusing on doing things well. So I'm a resume writer. Let me be the best resume writer I can be. I'm a career coach. Let me be the best career coach I can be. And I focused on that, and I did that for a year. Then I introduced, okay, well, I do have an MBA. I do have these things. Now let me add in business consulting, but only in a small area, and then I started writing books. That was my other thing. Well, then I would get people coming to me. Okay, I feel comfortable now adding. So my point again is, you don't have to do everything to be successful. Again, going back to our conversation about the nature of the business and my perception of it before, I was trying to do what all the competition I saw was doing.
Yeah.
Not realizing that they took years to get to where they were. They didn't just start with all these things. So once I realized that, I took a step back and started honing my gifting areas, and then added things in. So don't bite off more than you can chew is the first thing. Yeah.
That's very sage advice for sure. I get that. I think a lot of times many of us, most of us think that, well, if I have more, I can be sure to get, money coming in. But it means that you're trying to talk to all these different audiences at one time. It's hard to I kind of would explain it how when I finally, for years in the beginning, I had to keep my resume business funneling money into CDI as I built and rebuilt over a brand that I won't even go there. Anyway, I finally just had to take a leap of faith to focus on the one thing of CDI. And I described it as, you can't get any further down any one path if you're straddling two. Because at one point, you can only split so far and you're stuck. And there's a lot of things in career services and resume writing that are complementary for sure, but we can spread ourselves too thin, get confused, have too many offerings so that our clients are confused. And it's good whether you're, just starting out or realizing, like Jeannine said, she and her husband said, you can't quit yourself. But it's a good idea to take a look once a year and see, are there things that just don't sell? Are there things I don't like to do? Like, that was a big eye opener for me with career assessment, to one day go, I love doing this, but I can't seem to sell it for a profitable amount. And it puts me under a high degree of stress every time, wanting to make sure that the client finds their ideal situation in 3 hours. And I'm like,
in 3 hours, yes.
This is not worth the anxiety it gives me. And letting it go is just such a relief. All right, we have a comment. Joan says, I was in retained executive search for years. Okay, yep, that's a very smooth, linear transition to make into our industry. Very cool. All right. So, Jeannine, for those who are considering a career in this field or who are struggling in their businesses right now, what are a few other key pieces of advice you'd share with them? Some gold nuggets, if you will.
Okay. All right. Oh, so I had to write those down because Laura knows me well. I can go off on tangents. So I actually have 3, maybe 4. So I would say the first thing is to stay current. So invest in continuous learning and development. Our field is ever changing because the industries are changing, so military, like I said, that I work with, they go through, even though government's slow, the military goes through a lot of transitioning, and military members, especially the Navy population that I work with, they have what they call collateral duties. So they have these main roles and then these extra things. And I need to stay smart on those things. So I would say continuous learning in your industry, of your target audience, your career services, staying up to date. I love CDI because you can take different courses, you can get certifications. I'm working on a certification now, another one. And I love that. So that's the first one. Invest in continuous learning and development. Embrace automation. And Laura knows this. I talk about this all the time. I won't go into it, but I am also a 17 Hats ambassador. 17 Hats is what I call an all in one business tool. It's more than just CRM. I love it because it automates my process, everything. So as soon as, for instance, somebody goes on my website and they fill out my form, I'll get notified in my inbox, my email inbox. My automations will kick in, and they will already get a thank you for contacting me, an appointment link to my schedule, yada, yada, yada. So it's just a seamless process, because you'll find, if you're just starting out, that once the clients do start coming, and they will, you get bogged down in all the administrative stuff. And you're going to find yourself wondering when you're going to actually get the work done, because you got to send that invoice out. Laura says, send it out right away. Well, all that takes time. So I like to have processes in place. And so automation, embrace automation. Implementing efficient systems and process is crucial for staying organized. And like I've already alluded to this before, build strong relationships and partnerships. And CDI is a great place to do that. Because those partnerships can turn into more than you would ever imagine. In fact, I just wrote a book called Growing Success, A Job Seeker's Guide to Networking. Just launched last week, Valentine's Day. And 2 members of CDI were contributors to that book, along with 9 other people. It's 12 of us total wrote this book. But again, 2 of them came from CDI because I met them through the accelerators group, and I love it. And I thought, in getting to know them, they would be good contributors to the book. So you never know what can come of it. So build those strong relationships and partnerships. And then the last one I would say is try to personalize everything. Don't cookie cut anything. Resumes, your clients are unique. They deserve unique resumes as well, because their stories are different. You may get, like in my case, I may have 2 military members, same background, same rank, same career path potentially, but at the end of the day, they're very different people, and they have very different professional stories. So I'm very cognizant of making sure that everything I do is very unique to them. No cookie cutter templates, nothing like that. I'm not saying templates are bad. I'm just saying make sure you're personalizing everything, because it'll go a long way. And that's how you're going to get a lot of referrals when you do that as well. So I think I shared 4, but one kind of I had already shared, because I already said strategic partnerships. So I threw that other one in there.
That's great. That's great. But no, I mean, if you've been following along with the show, then you know that what Jeannine is saying about partnerships, that was the number 2 way that resume writers and career coaches stated that they were growing their business in 2023, was partnerships and professional referrals. So you can't discount, especially if you're, one of the people who has had this whole COVID world transitioning thing, be a challenge to your success. It's like you gotta go and meet your colleagues. You gotta, I can't even say show up to the events. Like we did a accelerator event last month, which is a looking back over your wins in the past 30 days and planning strategy for the next 30. And only one person showed up. I mean, dozens registered. It's a free benefit. I mean, the value added, especially because you get to go into at least one breakout during the session to deeply network with another person. Plus, you're guided through an event that everyone who's previously attended it and rated it gave a 10 out of 10 overall, and 100% said they would attend again. But yet, no one's showing up when that could have been the time you met Jeannine and become a co-author in her book, you know? But you got to show up. You've got to show up. You've got to change things. You've got to be all in. And all in means continuing to learn, as she said, continuing to connect, as she said,
Yes.
and treating each project as a unique opportunity, which I think you can only do when you're benefiting from connections and continuous lifelong learning focus. Because otherwise, yeah, it's so easy to just get caught doing the same thing, believing it's enough, and it doesn't pay off in the long run. So those are great, great tips I can get behind for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I was going to say, in those partnerships, I shared the example of, opportunities that arose with a book. I also got a lot of referral business, thousands of dollars worth of referral business, because I made friendships, and those friendships didn't require that they weren't subcontractors. They weren't anything like that. They didn't even require me to give them any money for the referrals. I felt because they'd helped me so much that I would give them something, but they were my friends and they just wanted to help me launch successfully in an area.
Yeah.
And then, of course, what happens when that occurs? Well, they're top of mind. So as soon as you see an opportunity that fits them, you want to send it immediately to them to help them succeed. And that's what I love about, like Laura said, with the CDI events, is you get to know these people and you keep them top of mind for different things. Like I said, I did for book stuff, but you just never know what's going to pop up.
Yeah. That's like when we were in earlier today when Jeannine was with me and some others in the Career Industry Accelerator Club, and somebody actually asked, well, what's the best way to get clients to give you referrals? And I had a lot of things to say about it because they wanted to know, do you really need a formal plan? And to me, at the root of getting referrals is building it into the systems, but I quoted telling everybody, and I linked to it in our Facebook group, an article I wrote years ago called, if you give a little honey, you'll get a lot of money, which is, as Jeannine is saying, top of mind is like, say thank you, value, and cherish when someone does anything for you, even if it's a referral you couldn't use, or, somebody who turns out to be a PETA, you can be assured a friend of yours, a colleague of yours didn't refer them on purpose. Even if the person doesn't buy, the value of saying thank you builds a relationship where the value of silence or complaining can get you on the top of another list that we're not going to go into. It's golden rule behavior, bring it into your business. All right, for those of you who are following along, viewers, if you have a piece of advice you'd share, please drop it in the chat. And Jeannine, I just have one last question for you. Is there anything else you'd like our audience to know in terms of encouragement, lessons learned, or final thoughts around being a successful career industry professional?
Well, I have a couple of things that I want to share before you turn me off. But I have to say that I'm so glad I found CDI, and I'm so glad I became a member of the group, because if it wasn't for you giving me advice about raising my prices, I probably would have thrown in the towel. The advice Laura gives friends, and I'm, this isn't what do they call that? A self-licking ice cream cone. This is heartfelt. Seriously, if I wouldn't have received the advice from Laura, I would have gone back to what I would have considered an easier route, federal government position. You know, as I stated earlier in the show, they were grooming me for senior executive service. I could have made a lot more money and done different things faster. But Laura, I won't say she sat me down because we were all obviously on video, but she said, okay, number one, you need to raise your prices. You had the clients coming in, but you didn't, you're killing yourself, and you'll burn out, and you won't be any good to your clients or yourself if you don't make that change. And she really challenged me to do it sooner rather than later. And I made the change, and I got to tell you, my clients didn't even bat an eye. They accepted the price. I even had one military executive, admiral level, say, I'm not going to pay you that. I'm not going to pay you until you give me an invoice that's worth your time. And he made me double my price. And so I really thank you, Laura, for that. I will continue to examine my prices and see if I can make more changes. But that's the type of advice you get. When I say you have a partner with CDI, you really do. She's going to tell you like it is, even if it's tough, because it's tough love so you can grow and succeed and get to where you want to go. So I just wanted to add that in there. The other thing I would say is you have got to be intentional with your business. This is a business. If you're starting out, you can't be wishy-washy. You have to be intentional with your time, with your money, with your thoughts on how you're going to move forward. And don't waste time and energy thinking about too much. You know, be intentional and plan. So I guess that's what I would end with. You know, again, you can't quit yourself, so you got to be intentional.
I like that. I like that you close with that, especially because I do come across a lot of people that it's like, you want to go, did you just wake up one day and just say, I'm just going to put on my LinkedIn profile, I'm a resume writer or a career coach, because there's no system, and I understand when you go it alone and you're trying to piece it together from, what you see on other people's websites and what you see people talking about. But without that intentionality, without a plan, like we talked about, Trish in the Career Industry Accelerator Club, she called it the red thread, and I changed it to the golden thread that runs through your business, that you have a process, a streaming system like you talked about, Jeannine, with 17 hats. So things flow, so nothing gets missed, nothing gets taken for granted, no opportunities get lost, because I try not to be a tough love person, but I want to be that person who does not see career professionals walking around being overworked, underpaid, exhausted, frustrated, quitting. I mean, I used to go to conferences and listen to my colleagues say the same things year after year, that I didn't have those problems, and I'd share my strategies and it'd go fix the things. And then I started CDI, and I just published a tip from my show last week where I was like, it's not enough to just join. You got to actually use and do. So if you allow yourself, Jeannine's focus on intentionality, again, such a great way to close, because you must be intentional. You cannot be the chicken without a head just running around. I got to get this done. Wait, I forgot about that. And you've got to be intentional about setting up your business and the systems and the processes. Your consultation needs to flow. When it's all set up, and these are the things I help people to do and I love to do, it works. And it's not a why won't people buy, or it must be the market or whatever. So intentionality, thank you for closing on that note, because I think that is priceless advice. Is slow down, take a breath, and put intention into the steps you take. And remember that it's not just enough to say you have a business, you have to operate a business. And a day will come, or maybe it's come for you already, where you can afford to have someone handle the administrative or operational or marketing pieces. But typically to succeed, we've got to go in initially with some grit and some belief that we can get out of our comfort zone long enough to get that engine pumping. Yeah. All right. I don't want to cut you off. Does that make you want to say anything else, Jeannine? Or
no, you're spot on. And when I said tough love, Laura's not tough. She just tells you the truth and makes you think. She definitely makes you think, but she does it out of love.
I'm a marshmallow.
No, you hit it, right on the head. So be intentional, and you will succeed. You just gotta keep moving forward.
Yep. Don't give up 5 seconds before your miracle. Thank you so much, Jeannine, and those of you in the chat. If you want to thank Jeannine for being our guest today and sharing such great information and advice, please take a moment to do so. I would greatly appreciate it because she gave of her time and energy and her strategy and industry secrets to be here and share this information with you today. So she's going to hang out with me here while I close the show. So I'm just going to give you a little round of applause since we can't hear anyone else. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura, for having me on.
Yeah, it's always wonderful. I love, Jeannine's my first guest. I'm so excited because I adore her. I just think she's the most wonderful person. All right. If you found this as valuable as I did, you're going to want to continue tuning in each Wednesday at 3:45 p.m. Eastern. I've currently got 16 more guests lined up, and I believe that will probably just keep going as people see these and go, I want to tell my story. So next week, I am joined by Lori Ann Jazback of Creative Horizons Communications. She's been in business over 10 years and previously worked in administration, customer service, sales, marketing, and accounting in various industries, including construction, property management, and material handling. Her niche is career changers, often making complex or unique transitions, and her main services include resume writing, interview prep, job search strategy, LinkedIn profiles, and career coaching. So that's going to be another great interview next week. I'm really looking forward to it. Again, Wednesday, 3:45 Eastern. So don't miss when we go live every week. Be sure to like and subscribe for notifications. Again, that's CDI's LinkedIn page, YouTube channel, and in our private Facebook group, which leads me to the last thing I want to show you. And let me throw some stuff. I'm going to hide my face here real quick. Look, it's just Jeannine. And let me just get this caption off of here. So if you head over to cdicareerdirectors.com and click on free stuff, some great opportunities there. You can join our community. We do daily prompts to encourage conversation, support, accountability, networking, referrals, partnerships, all those important things Jeannine talked about today. You'll also find those free lessons that she talked about, giving you a taste test of what CDI is all about. And I'm always particularly blown away by the fact that we have a testimonial on that page from a member. Maybe I should lean over here. We have a testimonial on that page from a member. He's now a member, but at the time he built a 6-figure business just riffing off of the free resources. So it's not like we're just giving you teasers. We want you to see if it's this good on the outside, just imagine what it's like on the inside with all those included webinars and done-for-you tools. But really important, if you do nothing else, head over to careerdirectors.com and take our quiz. It's on the free stuff page. It's also on the top of the website. And I'm just going to take this down because this is just too funny. Trying to talk around, hey, there is a quiz. It's the number one thing that's blocking you from building a 6-figure income as a resume writer or career coach. So not only is it going to help you get clear on what the top thing blocking you is, it's going to curate all those free lessons and resources and point you to directly which ones are going to give you the greatest ROI right out of the gate. So do that, take the quiz. Our membership is currently closed. However, you can get on the wait list on our join page. And you also can, a little birdie told me that there might be a back door to get in through that quiz. So, check it out. Yeah. So with that, let's again thank our guest, Jeannine, for being with us today. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your advice and tips. And I'm so honored that CDI has played a role in the success you've been finding. And I'm glad that the industry has you, because you are a gem. So thank you, Jeannine. And everyone else, please, let's continue to fly higher, and I will see you next time.